at the Intercontinental Hotel. What a show we have today, folks. And I know you are watching the show, my brother from another mother, because this man today is, I tell you, incredible. In fact, Eric Abuga has summed it all up. He says, today I have no time to even check out my tweets. Myles Monroe is making 1,000% sense. I'm telling you,
Twitter's on fire.
Twitter's on fire.
That's inspiring me. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
What you're saying is really resonating across the board, dog, across the board. And before the break, we'll talk about the 5 things, 5 questions.
Yes, every human being on earth is motivated by 5 questions. The man sleeping under the bridge on a piece of cardboard, or the man living in an ivory tower, they both are trying to answer the same 5 questions. First question, who am I? Second question, where am I from? Third question, why am I here? Fourth question, what can I do? And the 5th question, where am I going? The first question deals with identity, and the average human being has never answered the question, who am I? I didn't say what you did. Sometimes I ask people, who are you? And they say, I'm a nurse. And I say, no, that's what you do. Who are you? It's a revelation of your essence, of your person. Most people never know who they are, so they die as someone else. Second question, where am I from? People think of that as an ethnic question, ethnicity. You know, I'm from Africa, I'm from Asia, I'm from China, I'm from whatever, Europe. No. What I mean is, where are you from with regards to your creation? If you think you're from a monkey through evolution, then that's how much value you put on yourself. If you don't know where you're from, you'll never know what you are made of, what your qualities are, what your ability are. This bench we're sitting on, you call it a bench. It's actually a tree.
Correct.
How strong is this bench? It's as strong as the tree it came from. So the source determines what something is and what it could do. How much weight can this bench carry? It depends on the strength of the tree. So if you can find out where you came from, you also find out your ability, your strength, and your potential. Third question, why am I here? It's a question of purpose. Why do I exist? Why was I conceived in my mother's womb? What did I come to earth to do? Did I come to earth just to go to work and pay bills and die? It's got to be more to life than just going to work, paying bills, retiring, and die. This is a lousy life. If that's all you're going to live for, there's got to be a purpose for your existence. Fourth question, what can I do? What is my true ability? The average human only uses 10% of their brain, they say. So to be a genius, all you got to use is 11%. So I decided that before I die, I want to use at least 25% of my brain. So I'm working hard at that. But no one knows your ability except the manufacturer. So never allow anyone to judge you based on their measurements or even their tests. Mr. Robinson, in his class, I was an F student, but I finally figured out I wasn't a bad student, he was a bad teacher. Sometimes the problem is the teacher, not the student. The teacher couldn't teach, so the student could not become. So I had to become my own teacher, and I exposed my own ability, my own potential. The last question, where am I going, is a question of destiny.
Yeah.
No one was just born just to die. You were born to fulfill an assignment. And your assignment is already trapped on the inside. There's a story of a man who actually had a farm in Texas, and he heard about them discovering gold and oil out in California. He went and sold his farm for $38,000 back in 1694. And the guy who bought his farm for $38,000 US, very cheap farm, he gave him the money. The guy went, he bought some donkeys, he bought some pickaxes, some shovels. He went out to California looking for oil, looking for gold, looking for all the wealth, pursuing his fortune, he says. 3 months later, the man who bought his farm began to dig for water. Up comes oil. When the report got to California, the guy who sold the farm was on a donkey, read the paper, fell off his horse, and died from heart attack.
Yeah.
Because he realized that the farm he sold had the oil he was looking for.
All along.
My point is this: what you're looking for is right where you are all the time. You don't got to leave Kenya to become great. It's right in Kenya.
That's right.
Some people dream, if I can get to Great Britain, I'll be successful. No. Success is right here in Kenya. That's why I live 30 minutes from America. 30 minutes from the United States is where I live. I refuse to live in the United States because I got to prove that my greatest can happen in a little island 7 miles wide. So today, I'm a multi-millionaire, built a global organization on an island 7 miles wide, and I still live there, not far from the place where I used to sleep with roaches.
Oh.
I have an aircraft parked at the airport in my country with my name written on the side of it. Personal jet. That happens on my island. I did it on my island. You don't need to leave your country to become great. Your future is ahead of you. It's on the inside of you.
Right here.
You need someone to help you discover your future and then build the right environment around you to become that. That's why the greatest leaders in the world are in Africa. We need someone to cultivate them, to fertilize them, to make them believe that they can do anything. You know, we talk about foreign investors. Why don't Africans invest in Africa? Why don't Africans invest in the African in Africa? Because we are a powerful people. We have the future on the inside of us. This is why no one can dictate who I will ever be anymore. There are no more Miss Robinsons in my life.
No.
It's too late. I know who I am now.
This reminds me of Judith Dora Akolo's tweet. She says, thanks for bringing Dr. Myles Monroe and JKL. Quite uplifting show today. I hope those who love pulling others down are watching. We call it the PhD syndrome. Pull him or her down.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You got to be careful who you allow to speak into your life. I close my ear many times to people around me because I don't want to feed my soul negative thoughts. I choose who I listen to. I choose the books I read. You know, I've sold millions of books, and many times someone will write me and say, I read your book, I started a company, it's worth $10 million US today because of the book. And I just write him back and says, the book was fertilizer, that's all. You always had that company on the inside. I just fertilized it, I was a good friend. So if you want to be success, don't keep company with failures. If you want to be great, don't hang around people who don't think great. If you want to improve, be with people who can force you to improve. Your environment determines your success. And so the future to your life is in those people who you collect around you call friends. I asked one of my friends when I was around 14 years old, I said, here's what I'm dreaming of becoming. And he said, that's impossible. I said, well, I'm making some changes today and you are one of them.
And you canceled him.
That friend was finished.
A good friend of mine, Thabo Mbeki.
Yes.
He's also features in your International Third World Leaders Association, Change Through Leadership.
Yes.
He once described Africa as the continent of the 21st century. You still believe that?
Absolutely. The future of the world is in Africa. Let me just describe something to you. I want you to remember this. People, when they hear the term third world, they feel almost insulted. I'm talking about third world people. Me, I embrace it as being a positive. Third world was a concept invented by a French economist when they were trying to decide the development of the world in a G7 meeting years ago. And his conclusion was there were 3 worlds on the earth. The first world is, of course, old Europe. The second world is the discoveries of the West. The third world are those who are just coming out of colonialism and oppression. So there's only 3 worlds on the earth. 3 worlds on the earth. First world, Europe. Second world, the Americas. Third world, the developing countries. There are no more worlds. The first world has failed. The #1 source of democracy is Greece. Greece is a basket case.
That's right.
So the country that invented democracy failed. Then we have the second world, which is the Americas. The highest crime rate, corruption, murder, drug abuse, divorce. Is that our model? Who owes more money than the United States? China has bought more than 40% of their debt.
That's right.
Is that our model for Africa? The only world left on earth is the third world. Third to me means last. Last means we are now going to take over. We're going to be the ones to show them how to do it. And we don't want to use them as a model because their models failed. I want to challenge all of our African leaders to stop imitating failures. We have the genius mentally to develop our own solutions to our own problems. The smartest people in the world are intellectually in this great country of Africa. So we should become the standard, not the followers. We should become the leaders, not those who imitate. Let them come here and learn how we solve poverty, how we solve unemployment, how we solve abuse, how we solve social decay. Let them see how we solve crime. We are smart enough to solve our own problems. And I believe the only world God has left on this earth to set a standard for what is perfect and right is the third world countries. I am proud to be the last world. And I hope that together, we as a people all over Kenya, all over Burundi and Gabon and Swaziland, Zambia, Malawi, Botswana, wherever you are, I hope that you can get that spirit that we don't need to imitate failures. We are supposed to present solutions. We are the people who got what it takes. Our brain is untapped. As a matter of fact, like I always say, Jeff, I discovered the wealthiest spot on earth. First, I thought it was the gold mines of Ghana. I thought it was the diamond mines of South Africa. I thought the wealthiest spot on earth was the silver mines of Peru. I thought the wealthiest spot on earth was the oil fields of Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. But I discovered that the wealthiest spot on earth is not too far from your house, right here in Kenya. Matter of fact, we pass it every day. The wealthiest spot on earth is actually the cemetery. Why is it so wealthy? Because buried in the cemetery are books that were never written. The graveyard is filled with music we've never heard. The cemetery is filled with paintings no one has ever seen. The graveyard is filled with poetry never read. The cemetery is filled with businesses that never opened. The graveyard is filled with awesome companies that never got started. The cemetery is filled with inventions we've never used. The graveyard is filled with great, powerful women who died as prostitutes. The cemetery is filled with awesome men who died as alcoholics and drug addicts. It's a rich place. And that's why I really came to Kenya. I came to Kenya because of the cemetery, because I knew that sitting in your house right there where you are and sitting in this studio are people who are the next candidate to add to the wealth of the cemetery. You wrote one book. There's 10 left. If you died now, the cemetery robbed us. I came to Kenya because I want you to rob the cemetery. I want you to die empty. I want you to die with nothing else left to do. I want you to die because you poured out all of your dreams, ideas, visions, books, music, inventions, publications, that you died empty. That's the goal of life. Don't die old, die empty. As a matter of fact, one of the greatest statements I ever heard about dying is this statement. I think it's my beautiful statement of dying. It says, "It is finished." 3 words. The guy who said that was only 33 years old.
It is finished.
He didn't say, "I was finished," because we don't die. We are eternal spirits. He says, "It is finished." I poured out what I came to earth to pour out.
Was that the guy on the cross?
That's the guy on the cross.
All right. You see,
Therefore,
I remember these things.
My goal in life is to help everybody die empty. That's why I come to meet you, Jeff. You wrote a book. I love your book. But I'm thinking, what about the next one that's not released yet?
No, there's no sequel.
Or the other 5.
Doc, there's no sequel.
Or the other 10.
I have no energy.
I'm sure it's there. There's no way a man with your story could not have 10 stories. Don't die with my books. So I want to challenge every Kenyan.
Yes.
Go to the cemetery and disappoint the graveyard. Die like the Apostle Paul, who said, "I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. I have been poured out like a drink offering. There's nothing left. I am ready to die." That's the way I want to die. I want to die because there's nothing else to keep me alive. I've done what I was born to do. This to me is the greatest act of service to humanity, to deliver to us what you came to give us. You're doing a good job, but there's more. I believe that what you're dreaming is bigger than what you're doing right now.
Wow.
I believe you see your own networks that you own. I believe that you have your own studios. I believe I see you producing shows that are syndicated all over the world. You deserve to be heard.
Preach, Doctor, preach.
Why settle for Kenya when you can have the continent?
Hello.
You are talented, gifted, you're powerful. You should be publishing a magazine. You should be producing all kinds of t-shirts with your shirt, with your name on it. You should be starting maybe a line of clothing with your name on it. This is an image we need to see, feel, touch. Hey, don't dive at this stuff, okay? And that goes to each one of you watching this program. I don't know who you are, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're a politician, maybe you're a baker, mechanic, a teacher in a classroom, maybe you are a student, maybe you're unemployed. Listen, your future is not ahead of you, it's on the inside. Decide tonight to germinate your seed, get the right people around you, buy some good books, shut the TV off, accept this show, and feed yourself the right information to germinate your dream. And when you die like I'm planning to die, empty.
It is finished.
It is
And
finished.
tomorrow morning at the Fairmont, the Norfolk, 8:30, 7:30 breakfast. Be there if you want to hear more of this incredible stuff. And tomorrow afternoon at JCC Parklands, show up. It's going to be incredible. 5:30 onwards. Saturday at the Westin Hotel from 7:30 a.m. And then in the afternoon, Daughters of Zion from noon again at JCC Parklands. I met this gentleman tonight for the very first time, and I feel something.
Brothers.
For life. There's a connection. This man has touched something no one else ever has in me. I hope he's done the same to you. Listen up, folks. Tell a friend. It's going to be on YouTube. Hopefully it'll be repeated tomorrow. Tell a friend. Dr. Myles Monroe is a man, is a force, is a name to remember. Wow. Keep tweeting at Myles Monroe, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JKL. Next week, new week, new show, new topic, new guests. Same place, same time, 10 p.m. right here on KTN. And tomorrow night, Sikika Sasa travels to Bungoma Town in Bungoma County. 8 p.m. live again right here on KTN. Thanks so much for joining us. What a guest, what a show. Oh my, Monroe my. Good night. And
Thank
good luck.
you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure.
My goodness.
It was a joy.